Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Christine and we are here today to get cozy in our little corner of the internet and talk about some books. So before I dive in, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched my videos so far. I was not expecting to get the number of views I did on my first few videos, and while they might not be big numbers, it means a lot to me, and I'm so excited that people are finding my videos, clicking on them, and giving them a watch. So without further ado, we are going to jump into today's video, which is a little late in the month. It is January 26th today, but I am going to do a very quick wrap up on everything I read in November and December. Before I jump into that, I do want to give a quick reading update. If you've seen the first video I put out this year, it is my 2025 TBR, and I am very happy to say I have already tackled 3 of the books on that list. So excited, and I am on my 4th one, which is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I got into a bit of a slump with this one about a little before the middle, and I think I'm finally out of it. Things are getting exciting again. A lot is happening. This book is also quite grim, which I do also remember about the first one as well. Like, there are some very brutal scenes in these books, but overall I'm really enjoying it again. I'm glad I finally got out of the slump with just where the plot was moving a little bit slower, and now it is picking back up again, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. And I am just over halfway done, so fingers crossed I will be trying to finish this in January. Okay, and now let's dive into the books that I read in November and December. At the end of the year, I was a little bit slower on the reading side, just trying to really wrap up the year, wrap up what I was reading. We had visitors in November, we had the holidays, November and December, so it was a pretty slow reading month for me in both months, but I am happy to say that I finished 4 books in November and December. The first I listened to an audiobook, and that is Mad Honey by... Okay, the first book I read in November and December I listened to in November as an audiobook, and that was Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finney Boylan. I did listen to this on audiobook very quickly. It was so good. This was a 5-star listen for me. It was narrated by multiple narrators, so the alternating perspectives in the book were respectively done with the narrators of the audiobook, which I always love when they do that. I also haven't read a Jodi Picoult book in years at this point, and I know I really loved them when I used to read them. I could never see the plot twist coming that was going to come, and I felt the same way about this one. I really thought I had things figured out, but I was once again surprised at the end when I was completely wrong. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. It touches on some really important issues that we are seeing now with violence against women, violence against transgender people, the assumptions that we make, and just a really tragic story, really heartbreaking. It was so good to listen to, but definitely go into it knowing that it is like a heavier subject matter. Maybe check out the trigger warnings beforehand, but I do highly recommend it if you are into contemporary fiction. I will say November and December were some really great reading months for me. My second book I read in November, I also gave 5 stars, and this is The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Long. This was a book of the month pick for me, and honestly, I picked it purely because the cover was, or is, absolutely gorgeous. I fell in love with this cover immediately as soon as I saw it and knew that this was going to be my pick for the month in November. So I pretty much got this book and started reading it. This is just like a cozy fantasy adventure of our teller of small fortunes who ends up accumulating a ragtag bunch of characters as they join together on a quest It is a beautiful story of found family, of trust, and of just finding our place in this world and finding those who support us and help us grow. I could not recommend this enough if you're looking for a nice little cozy read to get you through these cold winter days. And again, that is The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Long. Naturally, in December, it was time to shift gears a little bit and jump into the holiday spirit. So I started off with something not quite so mushy and a little bit darker. I intended to read this book last Christmas, but I just ran out of time in the month. And I have to say, I'm kind of glad I read it this year because that gave me some time to sit with the original source work and not really have that fresh in my mind to really influence my opinion of this one. Because while it is a retelling of this story, it is a very, very loose retelling. But nonetheless, I found this book pretty enjoyable. I gave it 4.5 stars. And that is The Kingdom of Sweets by Erica Johansson, based on the Nutcracker. So in this story, we have our two twins who are representative of dark and light. As you can imagine, our light twin is beautiful. She is kind, charismatic, and outgoing, and everybody loves her. And our dark twin is considered strange and ugly and just undesirable overall. And she ends up seeking revenge on her sister and is transported into this dark kingdom of sweets where she meets the queen, whose intentions may not be what they seem. This story was quite dark. It was not a comfy cozy Christmas story. It was a story of murder and revenge and what the consequences of that are. I do like this book. I thought it was a really interesting and different take on a retelling of a holiday classic. I have some blueberry tea here today. It's very good. My final book of 2024, and one that I was so excited to read and did not disappoint, is Most Wonderful by Georgia Clark. This is a queer holiday romance. We follow 3 siblings who come back together at the holidays at their mom's inn. She has this beautiful mansion in upstate New York, and these 3 siblings come together and their lives are complete messes, both their personal lives and their love lives, and they help each other figure it out and fall in love along the way. But what I really loved about this is that all the characters were so unique, they were so dynamic, but they just had this beautiful sibling relationship where they were able to help each other get through this really tough time. There's some other stuff going on with their mom, and just all the little plot details of this book made it a 5-star read for me. It was the perfect way to end my year, and honestly, I would read this again next year for the holidays. It was just that good. Again, Most Wonderful by Georgia Clark. All right, so thank you so much for watching my wrap up of everything I read in November and December. This was a very short wrap up. I did not read a lot at the end of the year, and I'm hoping to avoid that end of the year burnout slump. I feel like there are times of year where I always hit it, and it's always in the middle of the summer and the very end of the year because life just gets crazy and overwhelming. If you liked this video today, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you've read any of these books. Let me know your thoughts, and I am very much looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.